welcome back to Morning Coffee. I'm Megan. Thanks for joining me for another video about organization, goal getting, productivity, and personal growth. At the time of the filming of this video, it is March 2020, which means we are in the middle of a global pandemic and quarantine. Yay! It's been an uncertain time. So many things are changing. They're literally changing day by day, and a lot is unknown about what is going to continue to change. A lot of us are home much more often now than we were supposed to be normally, and so everything is just a little off. We all feel a little bit anxious and a little bit uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen. And what I found in these times is that sticking to your habits is really one way to kind of keep yourself moving forward during this crazy time. So today I'm going to talk about 5 habits that have changed my life so that you can maybe incorporate some of these into your daily routine to keep yourself positive and productive during this crazy situation. The first habit that has changed my life is reading regularly. Back in the fall of 2017, I think I started reading again. It was right around the time when I was planning a couple of big career changes, a couple of big life changes actually. I was changing my career, I was getting married, we were moving, we were doing all of these things, and I just felt a need to get my life together a little bit, find a way to help make me a better, more productive person. And so I started reading again. After college, I kind of tossed reading aside because I was just used to being forced to read things and I was over it. And now I can say that it is one of my daily habits that I do very consistently, and I've loved the way that it's impacted my life. I read for about 10 minutes every day before I go to sleep. I am a person that likes to break things into small little pieces to get them done. So instead of taking 2 grand hours to read, I set aside about 10 minutes to read every day. And that is how I have gotten through my reading lists in the last 2 years. If you are looking for books to read, I will link the video that I did about my 2020 reading list for you here so you can check that out for some recommendations. And then don't forget about audiobooks. Right now, we are all somewhat confined to our homes. And so if you don't want to go buy a physical book, or if you don't want to order one off of Amazon, consider audiobooks. Audible is a great website where you can get audiobooks. They are cheap. They are obviously not requiring you to leave your home or interact with a human. And then you can listen to them anywhere in your home, maybe put it in the background while you're working or while you're in the kitchen, whatever you want. But reading has just exposed me to some new ideas. It's exposed me to motivation and inspiration from people, mostly women, that I admire. And so authors work really hard to put a lot of really great knowledge into their books, and it's a great way to learn new things or entertain yourself or motivate yourself and inspire yourself while everything else in the world is kind of changing. So tip number 1 is to read daily. The second habit that has changed my life is finding internet mentors. This is actually going to be the subject of an upcoming video. I am going to post a video all about the 10 internet BFFs that you need. Because right now we're not, out and interacting with our normal coworkers or friends right now. And so you're going to find yourself at home a little bit more often and maybe in need of some socialization, in need of some other sort of influences around your mindset. Finding internet BFFs or mentors on the internet is a great way to surround yourself with the kind of people who are currently practicing something you're looking for. So if you're looking to get your money and budgets together, you should be following people who speak on that subject often. So vloggers, bloggers, Instagram influencers, people that talk about that topic, they're great people to follow. They're going to reinforce all of the things that you're working on. They're going to give you motivation and inspiration and information. If there's something that you want to work on, you need to surround yourself by people who are also involved in that thing. Get your mindset aligned by creating an environment around yourself that is going to move you forward in that area. And so, since you are doing a lot less of that in person right now, finding people on the internet who can help you and support you is a great idea. Everything from authors to musicians to creators and artists, and just all of the things that you might be interested in, those people might really be great to help you right now. For example, Day Designer is my favorite brand of planners, and I have loved all the tips that they've been sharing on their Instagram feed about how to kind of plan in this uncertain time. So that's also another idea. Find an area of interest and look around the internet for people that you can connect with who can help you with your mindset every day. The third habit that has changed my life is writing down my goals. I read this statistic in a book somewhere that you're like twice as likely to get your goals accomplished if you actually write them down. I have become really, really good at tracking my goals, setting my goals on a regular basis, reevaluating them on a regular basis, tracking them every week and every month, and taking that sort of hands-on physical approach to writing them down and tracking them has definitely increased my ability to get them done. Last year, I would say, would be like the first year that I really fully committed to that process, and I was able to accomplish a lot of the things that I had set out to do last year, and I've started that again. You don't need anything fancy. You can just use a notebook, but now you've got a little bit of extra time on your hands, and maybe you're feeling a little bit lost and unfocused because you don't know what you should be doing during this time. If you haven't set goals yet this year, this is a great time to physically take out a piece of paper and write down your goals. You can make little tiny goals just to get you through the next 90 days. You can make big goals for the rest of your year or your life, whatever works for you. If you've made goals already this year, but you haven't been able to kind of make progress on them, now is a great time to get out your goals, write down kind of where you are on them. Have they changed? Are they different? Can you adjust them? How are you going to work on them? Now is a great time to get back to them. Actually, writing my goals down has totally changed the way that I approach focusing on goals and tracking them, and it's really changed how effective I am at getting them done. Habit number 4 is breaking everything down into little tiny pieces. I touched on this before, but one of my favorite quotes or motivational sayings is big things happen little by little. So I mean this in terms of goals, in terms of projects, in terms of just things you want to work on in your life. I referenced it earlier when I was talking about reading a book. It was also how I approached my pantry reorganization project. I'll link that video up here. It's how I approach working on my goals. It's how I approach working on a project, whether that's work or personal. It's way too overwhelming to work on something that is broad and non-specific. By breaking down something that you're working on into little tiny pieces and attacking just one action step after the next, it's really changed the way that I am able to get things done. So, for example, I'm working on a personal project right now to create a bunch of printables. And by a bunch, I mean like 100. And so that's super overwhelming and that freaks me out. So in order to break that down, I wrote a list of all of the printables that I want to make. And I broke them down into category. I broke them into like sections of 4 or 5. And every week I'm tackling one section. So during a week, I'm working on 4 to 5 printables, and then I assign those printables to a day. You take the big project and you bring it into a smaller chunk, and then a smaller chunk, and a smaller chunk, and you assign it to a time to get it done. The same thing would be for like a weight loss goal. If you wanted to lose 20 pounds this year, break that down into 2 two halves. Break that down into 3 months. Break that down by week. Break that down by day. Day is probably a little crazy for weight, so that was a bad example, but break it down by week. Like, how much do I need to lose per week in order to make a certain amount per month, per quarter, per year? Breaking things down into smaller habits and really attacking tiny action steps has definitely changed the way that I get things done in my world. The fifth habit that has changed my life is trying something new for 1 year. Now, I say this to be very specific because sometimes it can be really scary to try something new. And you're unsure, and you're not sure if you're going to like it, you're not sure if you can really do it. And I'm a kind of person that my husband, like, he calls me a square. Like, I just like to stay in my box of certainty, and kind of stay there and live there. And I've been better at trying new things. So, for example, last year I launched the Morning Coffee blog, and I committed that for 1 year I was going to post on my blog every single week. I gave myself permission that after 1 year, if I didn't like it, I could move on from it. I didn't have to keep it. I just committed to myself that I was going to show up once a week for 1 year and to try it out. If I hated it, if I couldn't do it, if it wasn't working, then I could quit and it would be totally fine. I committed to try it for 1 year. The same thing goes with this channel, actually. I launched this here at the end of 2019, and so I committed to making videos twice a week for 1 year. If after 1 year I decide that this isn't something that I want to move forward with, I gave myself permission to quit. I think giving yourself sort of a time frame of committing to something new gives you confidence that it's not forever. You can get out of it if you want to get out of it. If it sucks and it's terrible, it's fine. You don't have to worry about it. I think that now is a great time to try something new that you've been wanting to work on or work towards. And this strategy might give you the confidence to go ahead and start a new thing, a new project, a new passion. If you would just allow yourself to commit for 1 year, or even a smaller time frame than that, whatever tends to work for you. The point would be commit to showing up and trying something new for a specific period of time, and then moving on if it's not for you. But you never know what might happen if you try it. You might love it. It might be something super successful. It might be something that brings you so much joy. It might be something that completely changes your life, and there's no way that you'll know unless you'll try. Now is a good time to go ahead and give something new. Give it a try. I hope you found those habits helpful. As I said, in this time of craziness, I'm doing everything I can to stick to my daily routines and habits so that I keep myself sane, I keep myself focused and productive, and still working towards building my life right now, even though things are uncertain. If you have any habits that you're currently working on right now in the midst of the pandemic that you think would help the rest of the audience, leave a comment below with those habits. I look forward to reading all of your comments on the habits that are helping you right now. I have a goal to add 1,000 subscribers to this channel here in 2020. Please help me out and be one of them. Go ahead and click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos that I share here on turning your to-do list into your dream life. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. My coffee and I will see you soon. Off to work. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.